The Valley of Fear by Arthur Conan Doyle. This story begins with Sherlock and Watson alone in an apartment studying an encrypted message they received from a man called Porlock, who was an associate of Holmes's biggest enemy, Professor Moriarty. They decode the message and find that it warns of danger coming soon for a rich country man named Douglas at his house in Burlstone. Just as they figure out the code, Inspector MacDonald comes in and informs the men that Mr. Douglas of Burlstone Manor was murdered just the night before. After much deliberating and conversation, they all venture over to Burlstone Manor, where a friend of Mr. Douglas, Mr. Cecil Barker, greets the group and explains what he witnessed. Upon entering the crime scene, the detectives discover an American shotgun, a card with the inscription VV341, a bloody footprint in the windowsill, a missing dumbbell, and a missing wedding ring on Douglas's finger. After questioning Cecile and Douglas's wife, Holmes has many suspicions about the two and decides to spend the night in the Burlstone Manor by himself. He asks Watson if he can borrow his umbrella for the night. The next day, Holmes reveals to Watson and the other inspectors that he has solved the case and convinces them to join him for a stakeout that evening. During this stakeout, they witness a man fish something out of the moat and rush inside to see who it is. The group is shocked to discover that it is none other than Jack Douglas. Holmes and Douglas then explain what really happened, and it is revealed that the dead man from the crime scene was actually a man named Ted Baldwin who came to kill Douglas. The two began fighting, and finally Baldwin fired the gun, accidentally shooting himself and leaving Douglas to come up with a crime scene with the help of his wife and Cecile Barker. Douglas then explains that because of his past, he is happy to have been pronounced dead, as there are many people who have been attempting to hunt him down for his past actions. Finally, Douglas shares his dangerous past with the group. His name used to be Jack McMurdo, and he moved from Chicago out west to a coal mining district called Vermissa Valley, also known as the Valley of Fear. Upon entering the town, he learned of a dangerous mafia-like organization who called themselves the Scourers. At the head of this brotherhood is a powerful, ruthless man named McGinty. McMurdo, or Douglas, is inducted into the gang, where he is forced to go along with their violence and acts of terror throughout the town. After almost a year of being involved in these dark crimes, McMurdo is told by one of his gang brothers that there is a detective named Bertie Edwards following the group. McMurdo shares this with Jack McGinty, and the Scourers devise a plan to lure Bertie to McMurdo's house to be killed. That night, the gang waits for Bertie to arrive, and everyone but Jack hides in the back room. They expected to pounce on a sneaky detective, but are enraged to find the entire Vermissa Valley police force charging into the home instead, as Jack McMurdo reveals that he himself is Bertie Edwards, the detective. The gang has finally been busted, and all the members are jailed. Douglas flees the valley and moves around until finally settling in England, where he was living until the unfortunate night when he was tracked down by Ted Baldwin, one of the former Scourers. When Douglas finishes his story, all are shocked at his past. Holmes urges him to flee far from England since he believes that Professor Moriarty is attempting to hunt down Douglas himself, and Holmes and Watson venture back to their homes, ready for their next adventure.